Hello, my loves, my loves. She's back. She's back and better than before. A little day off goes a long way. I encourage y'all to do it. I know some of you have children. God bless you. Look at this hair situation. Hi, Lisa. Foreman's here. Okay, Emily's here. Adriana, well, you're getting the team together. We're getting the team. I mean, Ted. Does everybody know it's like breathing again? Zach saying it's like breathing again. It's very generous. Well, I wait a few minutes, get the gang together. Well, that's great. You know why, Emily? Can I just say, I just like to give a shout out for feelings. I'm having so many today. I am like such a sad COVID place. And I spent now, don't fix my feelings for me, okay? Don't fix my feelings for me. Feelings are incredibly important, okay? So I just spent so much of the day crying because I'm so sad about the world and about COVID. No need to fix my feelings for me. I'm telling you this because I'm having my feelings, and it's so wonderful, and it's such a gift of breaking up with sugar, and it's such a gift of my life that I can have feelings, because everybody knows that the alternative to having our feelings is, don't you? Eating our feelings. And so since I had Emily said I looked so good, and I wanted to tell her it's probably because I've had so much crying today. Oh, well, Susie's saying she was crying watching Grey's Anatomy. Well, let me tell you, that's all. Half of my life could be one of the chapters of my autobiography. Hysterically crying watching Grey's Anatomy. So yeah, so I was just having feelings today. Maybe that's why I look so beautiful. Yeah, I missed y'all. I'm glad to be here. We'll be here again tomorrow night. I'm gonna take Thursday off, New York Friday. It's gonna be great. Hi, Gail. So good to see everybody. So here's what I want to talk about tonight. So we're going to close the kitchen. We're going to have some QT tonight. We're going to close the kitchen. I was reading a friend of mine's book. Fascinating book. Really good book. And I was reading this part of it today because I had some downtime. And I wanted to read you this because, I just can't get my mind off of this thing. Okay. And this is what I want us to talk about because it is such a reason that we don't get traction, right? There's a lot of people having a hard time getting traction, turning back to the old ways. Of course, we're not slashing tires. I'm so excited about that. And gosh, there's so much to think about in all of it though, right? Because it's what do we do differently? What do we do differently to make it work? And one of the things that we do differently, Anna, is I think we have to really get in touch with, and I mean I don't mean in touch. I mean in touch with these stories that we tell that keep us really, really held hostage. And by the way, especially the stories that we tell that keep us held hostage that we've been telling for a really, really long time, right? The ones I'm too much, the ones we learned from early childhood, I'm too much. And the reason why, remember I told you that tiger in a cage story? Well, I just want to read you this. It's so beautiful. Hey, Bernadette. So I'm going to read you from my friend's book. So there's a thing called the baby elephant principle. Circus trainers will tie a baby elephant to a baby stake in the ground. Baby elephants are cute and relatively little, about 200 pounds at birth. So it doesn't take much restraint to keep them in line. The animals try to wiggle and force their way out to break free, but they're chained to a stake. They're stuck. Eventually, they give up. The babies grow up into grown-up elephants, weighing in at several tons. A little stake should mean nothing for these powerful creatures. They could break the chains that bind them with a flick of their majestic trunk, a shimmy of their tree trunk legs. but they stay put. The psychological dynamic is more powerful than the physical force. They are trapped not so much by their trainers, but by their own minds. They have lost hope. So it really touched me, that baby, I mean, for lots of reasons, but that baby elephant principle. And I was just, so when I think about this idea of closing the kitchen, right, stopping our eating at night, or not snacking, or breaking up with, I know, very powerful story, right? Or breaking up with sugar, or whatever it is, right? I think about that baby elephant principle. I know, poor baby, right, Mimi? Because I wonder what the stake in the ground that we all have right now, that we could break through in a hot second, but that we're just so used to having in the ground, right? Like, so what is, guys, try not to be so sad for the elephants. This is about you. Not so much codependency in this. Like, this is about, like, us. Come on. Go with the metaphor, not with the elephants. I'm with you. I love you. You're the most beautiful people. But can you get with the metaphor for yourself so we can heal? And then we'll heal all the baby elephants. Like, pinky swear on that, okay? Back to this. So, what is the stake in the ground that you've had, or you have for a really long time, that keeps you, Zach, stick with yourself, not the elephants, guys. Oh no. Guys, okay, so here's the metaphor. This is like the most compassionate group of people I've ever met. Okay, the baby elephant metaphor is saying that our minds have these limitations that are the stakes in the ground that have been there for a really long time. The stories we tell that we don't understand are just little stakes in the ground that we could easily, with our power, when we step into our power, just easily pick up. Where we're like sort of letting our lives be ruled by these little stakes in the ground. Okay, so can we get to this part of the story? This is arguably the most fun I've ever had at Close the Kitchen. So, so like the stories we tell, like I'm a diet failure. I can never do this, right? I'm not worth it. I can't try again. Do you know what I mean? So there are these stories that we tell that are these stakes in the ground that we let rule us, that are just little stakes in the ground that we can easily step over, that we can pull out of the ground and throw into the yard, or just, we're stronger than the baby stakes. You got it, Emily. Emily's on board with me. I agree. I'm not a big fan of circus. I'm not a big fan of circuses or even zoos, to be honest with you. But this is what I want you to think about, because I think, I've learned so much in our 50-something days as elephants. Right. There you go, Lisa. The demons in my head. So Lisa, and many of you, if you can start to think about, like, okay, so the demons in my head. So like in my kind of idea, like in my DBT and the kind of therapy I'm trained in, Lisa, we would be like, be more specific. Let's get really specific by what you mean by the demons in your head. What do they say? What do they sound like? What do we need to be like active? And there you go. I'll never make it there. This is impossible. You got it, Roseanne. Like, what are some of the other stakes that we need to be like our big elephant and be like, whoa, with like our noses? Like, who else has one? This is so good, you guys. Yes, you suck. You're a loser. Amazing. Take that stake out of the ground. Yes, yes. Yes, Sweetest Demons is like this, that we're this elephant gang and we're going to rebel against these stakes. You got it. Does anyone else have a stake that they know? Yes, I'm fat. Emily, that's such a good, that's not a good one. Like, I'm not happy you feel that way, but that's such a good one to know, because like also it's not true. And also, as we remember, fat's not a feeling. Yes, the scale will never move, right? And Mimi, we want to remember, when we focus on the recovery, we release the weight. And when we focus on the weight, we release the recovery. Oh, Josh has a good one. Josh's winner chicken dinner so far on Instagram. Only the food will help me feel better. Hello, winner. You'll never do it. That's just great, you guys. You'll never be any good. I'm not smart enough. Yeah, I'm unlovable. right? This is the last time, just one more. You know, this is really the stakes in the ground when you can start to notice what the stake in the ground is. And like, so here's the question. I mean, so here's the real question about that stake in the ground. Mimi, throw it away as far as I'm concerned. You'll never feel physically comfortable in your body. Here's the thing about the stake in the ground. This is really like the elephant story here, right? Just one more time. The question you want to ask yourself is this. This is really, here's the money shot, guys. Am I willing to have my life be run by the stake in the ground? Like, am I willing to be chained to this thing anymore? I already blew it. Of course, Ashley comes up with winner chicken dinner over there too. I already blew it. That's such a good one. What a stake in the ground. I failed. How can I possibly succeed during a pandemic? There, we're getting it. So the question is, so now we understand, my bad, this is like not really working. Okay, so now we understand sort of where we are with what the stake in the ground is. But I want to remind you of the story. The stakes in the ground were put in when they were baby elephants, right? And now we're grown up people with power and bravery and courage and vulnerability. And we have the choice to break out of that stake. That takes practice. As I say every single time I see you. We have that stake is just like that well-worn snow groove, right? So we have to really build this new thing. And gosh, you know, I'm remembering when I was like 13 years old, you know, and they took my braces off. And I remember it like when I ate an apple, I still felt like I had my braces on. You know, I was scared my teeth were going to break, right? So if we decide that we're going to take this stake out of the ground, you know, it still might feel like there's a stake there. Like you have to really be loving and caring to yourself and really be your own cheerleader in all of this, right? To say, hey, the stake's gone. We don't have to live by those rules anymore, right? Stand in your power. Stand in your power. It is a whole chapter. So the stories we tell ourselves are so powerful, and the stories we tell ourselves around like why we can't like get this. When like, side note, like this is a relationship. Like you're in the thing. Like it's not that you can't get this. You're in this. You just have to decide how you want the story to be written. Like that's the real deal here, right? You're in a relationship with food. There's no denying that. There's no getting out of that. There's just no way out of it. But you can decide if you want to have yourself chained to a stake that actually isn't even holding you hostage. It's just kind of a bad habit, or it's just something you learned very early. It's your story to write. Hey, Kathleen Booker. Yes, well, so that's what I have to say to you all tonight. We have to really learn how to rewrite our story. I don't mean to say it any other way, except for like, we have to do it. It's actually the only way we're going to get through this. Like, it's the only way that we're going to be able to really get the relationship that we deserve with food. That's the deal, my loves. And you deserve that more than anything in the world. And not only do you deserve that, but those around you deserve it. Like the world around us deserve it. And that's the deal. So when the stories come up, try to think, it's like, oh, is this a baby elephant stake? Because I'm a big elephant. I'm just going to take the stake out of the ground. You know what I mean? We have the power to break the stake. You got it, Karen. You got it. That is and I really want you to think about tonight, instead of going to the kitchen, like, what are some stories that you might be willing to let go of? You know, it's not helping you. It's not helping you. So, there's my little parable for tonight, my loves. I'm not sure I'm going to have a story for you tomorrow, but certainly that breakthestake.com. So anyway, we shall close the kitchen now, my loves. And put our hands on our hearts for ourselves. We are going to put our hands on our hearts for our larger community. We're going to put our hands on our hearts for all those people suffering with closing the kitchen, their abusive relationships with sugar, with flour, with dieting, with body image, the whole thing. And we put our hands on our hearts for those around us and for the first responders and everyone in the world today. It's a sad time. Anyway, okay. Amy has closed the kitchen, and Liz has closed the kitchen, and Sam has closed the kitchen. No, Sharon, we will not. Anna, my love, 52 days closing the kitchen. Dorsety, amazing. Lisa's closed the kitchen. Sherry, Crystal, Karen, Brenna, good job. Oakland, day 5, amazing. Rosemary, amazing, amazing. Josh has closed the kitchen. Emily's closed the kitchen with an elephant emoji. Adriana's closed the kitchen. Rachel's closed the kitchen. Sharon, Rose has closed the kitchen. Susie, Mimi, what day are you on? Tali has closed the kitchen. Good. Ashley's making dinner, then closing the kitchen. Zach is closing the kitchen. Mwah. Chase, mwah, 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 close the kitchen. Esmer Kunistas closed the kitchen. I'm so glad you all found my story so funny. Bernadette's closed the kitchen. Roseanne's closed the kitchen. Diane's closed the kitchen. Mimi, I think you're at like 10 or so. I was just looking at your post before. Just keep going. Yeah, don't look up. It's fine. Love you guys. Love you, my little elephant tribe. We'll do it all tomorrow. Break the steak, my loves. Break the steak. Mwah. If you haven't joined the Breaking Up with Sugar group and you haven't participated in it, get on it, my friends. Love you. Bye.